I call it Instagram parenting.
Yeah.
Not gentle parenting, because we're literally learning parenting through Instagram.
First thing that I as a parent need to do is stop over parenting. I don't tell my child that, oh, you're so lazy. Look at your sister, how well she's doing. His mind will constantly question his worth. Am I not good enough? Am I not worthy?
Don't you think that feeding a child's tantrum with calm is accepting that tantrum?
My child does not have frustration tolerance. And I'm not allowing him to be in discomfort. Children cannot self regulate. They need our nervous system to borrow to regulate themselves. Whatever I'm talking is not new parenting. I'm in fact going back in the day how our dadis used to do. We are actually raising fickle minded, weak children.
The child is obsessed with the nanny and they don't know how to deal with this.
Research says that 70% of your internal voice is coming from your own parents.
So is complimenting your child with good boy or good girl, is that good enough?
No, not at all.
Today, we're talking about parenting, but not the filtered kind you see on Instagram, not Instagram parenting. We're going deep into what it really takes us to raise emotionally strong, mentally resilient children in today's high stress, high stimulation world. How can we wire our child's unconscious mind? I have with me Shweta Gandhi, a certified parenting coach, NLP practitioner, and founder of The Confident Parent. Known for her viral reels that decode everyday parenting moments, Shweta has helped thousands of families build better communication and stronger emotional bonds. Trust me, after this episode, I have so much that I'm taking away and back to my children at home tonight. Together, we'll unpack the invisible damage modern parenting might be doing, how our words literally rewire our children's brains and how much we can impact our children's brains, and how to raise kids who aren't just obedient, but secure, self-aware, and ready for the world that we live in today. What I want to talk about today is how can we raise emotionally strong kids, right?
Okay.
And how do we prepare them for this world?
When I want to raise an emotionally intelligent, resilient child, first thing that I as a parent need to do is stop over parenting. Because in today's day and age, I see moms, they're like, with a little cry of the child, they want to run, comfort the child.
Yeah.
So बच्चे का discomfort tolerance build ही नहीं हो रहा है. My child does not have frustration tolerance, and I'm not allowing him to be in discomfort because I am overprotective. I am a hands-on mom. I am a helicopter mom who's hovering over my child's head.
What is a helicopter mom, by the way?
So helicopter mom is a mom who is hovering over the child's head every minute of the day, micromanaging the child. And all of this is leading to my child does not understand the emotions, 2 cannot regulate the emotions, 3 is not able to live with difficult emotions or channelize them. So a lot of parents need to stop over parenting, where I don't have to be, like so concerned अगर मेरा बच्चा रोएगा, ये सब कुछ होगा. Let them experience a little discomfort. And that is how they are going to learn that, okay, these are the emotions, this is how I live with it. And as a parent, what I do is I help my child regulate. For example, if Zavi is having an outburst, what would you really do? Would you like just run into it? Oh, don't cry. Oh, what happened? Or would you just be there? I understand. I understand you're going through this. I'm right here. So I'm allowing my child to feel. And I am telling him that I'm right here. You can borrow my calm.
As a mom, I don't know if that always works. Right? It works sometimes, but I think it requires a lot of trashing. And I think once the baby's a toddler and they kind of have their opinion, it also leads to the hands moving, legs moving, kicking, kind of your trashing, which is, at that point, you're kind of like, what is gentle parenting? Like, I just want to figure out a way for this to never happen again.
No. It doesn't happen that way. So if I am again, my child's brain will need a minimum of 30 encounters for him to understand one emotion. For example, my child is experiencing anger, and I tell him, why are you getting angry? Stop it now. Enough of you. It's not going to help him control the anger. It is, in fact, going to aggravate because his chaos needs my calm. And if I'm only telling him this is not working out, don't do this, I'm tired of you, my child is going to be more triggered. And when he's getting angry, I tell him, Agastya, this is fine. You know what? Mama also experiences this. And when you're angry, you do this. I do this. Let's try this. Or just let him be angry and I just be his anchor. What happens is if my child is angry, I get angrier. If he's disrespectful, I get more disrespectful. That who do you think you're talking to? Right? So whatever my child is doing, I'm just mirroring it and making it more aggravated. Is that helping my child? No. And all of this, their entire brain and nervous system is immature. And they need co-regulation. Science calls it co-regulation. Children cannot self-regulate. They need our nervous system to borrow, to regulate themselves. And a minimum of 30 times when one episode is repeated. Only when it will happen that 31st time, I'll see a 5% change that, okay, he's done this by himself. Because his brain, the neural pathway in the brain got stronger. Got that message that, oh, this is what I've been doing. This is what my mama has taught me, or this is what I've been seeing. This is how I need to do when I feel this way. Over the period of 0 to 7 years, my child is gradually learning all this because every word that I tell him, every behavior that I model in front of him is making an impression, a lifelong impression on his subconscious mind. And all these behaviors, how am I learning? By absorbing from my alpha people. And who are my alpha people? Mostly my parents. Right.
So, what is a tantrum and what is going through a child's brain when a tantrum is happening?
Okay. Beautiful question. And I think
so important to understand.
So let us understand. Noor was born, right? Now, Noor, when the day she was born, she had 86 billion neural connections, basic brain cells, neurons in her brain, waiting to be connected with each other. First time Masoom held her, one connection was built between two neurons. You fed her, another connection was built. The neurons getting connected, the neural chains that are being built. So, with environment, exposure, with lot of love, stimulation, my brain is building the neural chains, neural connections. By the time Noor is 2 years, she already has neural connections that are double than Masoom's brain.
How is that possible?
Because of the environment and exposure, and because their brains are so young.
Okay.
And why the neural pruning happens. What is neural pruning? With age, as we go further, we have certain thoughts, we have certain way of working. That's how the neural pruning happens. The chains that are not used much, they fade away. Right? And hence we have lesser, the children have more. So much so that by the time my child is 2-year-old, in 1 second, 1 million neural connections are building in my child's brain. Now, stay with me. What is happening? Because of this explosion of neural connections, my child's emotional brain, amygdala, okay, is fully developed. But the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, is not developed at all. So, when a tantrum comes, overwhelm of emotion, something that they don't find easy with. She wants a blue cup. You gave her a pink cup. Now, in her brain, it's like scary situation. Something's massively gone wrong. And hence comes the big tantrum. It's not that she's a bad kid or she wants to give you a hard time. It's just that her brain is feeling overwhelmed, does not know how to deal with this. For her brain, it's a big SOS. Help me. Emergency, call an ambulance. Their brain is designed that way. And that is nothing to do with my child being bad or I being a bad parent or I not doing
Hmm.
enough or my parenting is wrong.
So, if your child is screaming on the floor in a mall, throwing a tantrum, how do you react?
You just offer your calm to them. And it's very common. I've been through that. I'm sure you have been through that. But in that situation, if I'm going to shout at my child, if I'm going to do hundreds of things, it's not going to work. And I've been there. I've been a negotiator. I've bribed him. I've done hundreds of things. And it doesn't work. All I need to do is regulate yourself first. If in that chaos, I'm going to lose it, it's only going to worsen.
But don't you think that feeding a child's tantrum with calm is accepting that tantrum?
No, it's not. Because you need to be firm. I'm not
Okay, so
saying.
give me an example, right? Let's play out this scenario.
Okay, right?
My child comes home from school and he's completely fine in 5 or 10 minutes, and then he asks for something very unrealistic.
No, realistic. He asked for a car, which you got yesterday. You got him a car. Today again he wants a car, and you try to explain him, Zavi, I got your car yesterday. Let's play with so many other toys that you have. No, but he wants that particular red flashy car. He wants that. And you're like, no, I'm not going to give that to you because you already got one yesterday and you have 100 other toys to play with. And in that case, what are you going to do?
No, then he throws a tantrum.
Yeah.
Forget me doing
Of course.
anything, right? So he's having a meltdown and he's on the floor.
My thinking brain, my logic brain starts developing only at 5 years. I am incapable to think or to regulate or to handle myself because my brain is underdeveloped, my impulse controls are missing, my emotional regulators are missing. They start developing only at 5 years. And until what age do they develop?
7, 12.
No. Their logic brain develops until mid 20s. So there's a lot. So when we talk of the toddler tantrum, then also comes the teenage tantrum. They also,
Correct.
because when kids are around 10, 11, their entire brain is again rewired. And when the wiring is happening, that's when the tantrums come in. So all the tantrums must be met with a regulated nervous
How do you
system.
regulate? How do you co-regulate? Do you hold? Do you pick up the baby when they're
So-
trashing on the floor?
Yeah,
or-
so there are multiple ways. The scientific way, if you ask me, is to go down to their level. Why? Because it is very intimidating for a little one to have somebody 3 times their size. It's intimidating. So you go down to their level, meet eye to eye, you validate, you empathize with them. I know you want this. I understand. However, this is how we are going to work around this. I understand you want it. I also want that you get what you want. However, you know what? Because we got it yesterday, this is why I'm not getting you this. Now, if you try to explain him logically, your child may not understand logically because, again, as I explained, logic brain is shut. So what do you do in that case? Just maintain your calm. You do not have to address every tantrum with lot of efforts. You just be a calm figure standing there. I know, I understand, I get it. I get you. However, this is not happening. And be there, be calm, be firm. I don't have to give in to my child's tantrums or his endless demands. I do not have to do that at all. All I have to do is be present, be patient, offer my calm to my child. And that's a scientific way. That's the only way to deal with it. If you go by the textbook, this is the golden rule. Your presence and your patience is the only thing that your child will need from you, from all the different points of view, in terms of behavioral, emotional, mental, all the aspects. This is the way to go about, because again, always remember, 0 to 5 years में उनका इमोशनल ब्रेन फुल्ली डेवलप्ड है और उनका थिंकिंग ब्रेन बिल्कुल डेवलप नहीं है. लॉजिक काम करेगा नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि लॉजिकल ब्रेन डेवलप्ड ही नहीं है. इमोशंस को हम कैसे शांत कर सकते हैं? इफ फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू आर येलिंग and your husband is also yelling, do you think you're gonna come down to a conclusion? But if you are yelling and your husband is calm, Will you calm down?
Yes.
Yes. Co-regulation.
True. Yes.
Co-regulation. And so many parents, they make this mistake. Go in your room. You don't get it. Shant hoke hi bahar aana. What is all this? I'm tired of you. As children grow a little older, once they're 5, 7, they're like, just go and shut yourself in the room. Don't come to me with all this. I'm done with you. But children are hardwired for connection
Mm.
and co-regulation, and not for separation and self-regulation. This is how their brain works. This is what their brain needs.
So you spoke about the emotional brain and how an emotional brain of a child is completely ready by the age of 5. So what are things that we can do to make sure this emotional brain is strong and capable of life?
Correct. So there are a couple things that parents must do. Number one is, please don't overparent. Let your child be, let your child do. Number two is, बच्चों का सारा काम करने मत भाग जाओ. लाओ मैं ये कर देती हूँ, shoelace I'll tie, I'll make you wear, I'll pack your school bags. They're gonna take time, they're gonna make mess, but they're gonna learn. Because if you are doing everything for your child, where is he using even a little bit of brain? Where is his energy being channelized? But when I tell my kid, you know what? Do you want to start packing? I'm here to help you. But do you want to do this? You know what? This is how the shoelaces are tied. Do you want me to help you? I can show you. Let's do it together. Let your child lead and let you be the one who is only assisting, rather than you doing everything for your child and your child just out of nowhere is like सब कुछ तैयार पे मिल रहा है, उसका ब्रेन यूज ही नहीं हो रहा है. अगेन, अब आपने उसका बैग पैक किया, समथिंग डिड नॉट गो राइट इन द पैकिंग ऑफ द बैग, द टैंट्रम्स गोना कम, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. However, if the child himself is doing, you are putting him in the driver's seat. You are responsible for yourself. Let your kids do things. Let there be discomfort. Let them sit with uncomfortable emotions. Let them experience it. And you tell them that you experience it. I also experience it. This is how I regulate. This is how we do it. And 30 times होने दो. हम क्या करते हैं? 2-4 बार ट्राई करते हैं, लाइक नहीं हो रहा है भाई, ये इसको नहीं समझ, जेंटल पेरेंटिंग मेरे से नहीं होता है, एंड देन वी गिव अप एंड देन वी गो बैक टू आवर ओल्ड वेज दैट इसको तो डांटेंगे, 2 लगाएंगे तभी समझेगा.
Something I'd love to discuss with you, that there is a very common chatter and problem that has come up in my peers. And I don't know if you felt this as well. And actually, I live in Dubai, but more so in India than in Dubai, where a lot of the moms, especially, they feel like the child is obsessed with the nanny. And they don't know how to deal with this. So this leads to mental trauma with the mothers, because the child is so dependent on the ecosystem that the mother herself has built, right, for her own comfort. But why is this happening? Or does a child not know the difference between a mother and the nanny or the support staff? You're smiling.
I mean, it honestly comes to me as a surprise because माँ तो माँ होती है.
But have you heard of this?
Not really.
So this
Not
is one
even-
of the most, I think this is 5 out of 7 cases in a Bombay.
Really? Wow,
Yes.
that's surprising. However, I think when moms will have, certain special, the mother-child time together, where you are connecting over certain special things, where you have your ritual that, din mein, at least these are the 5 things that I'm going to do with my child, then I think the child is always going to, come back to you. I have ecosystem, I have nannies at home. However, my child will always come running to me, because also I've made sure that every day 1 hour individually I will be spending with my children in such a way that this is the thing that I'm going to do with Agastya every single day, this I'm going to do with Amara every single day, and that's how you have that connection, your sacred time with your children, one-on-one. So kids eventually, they recognize that emotional love, or that the sacred rituals that you have built. Nanny's only there to do the probably the daily routine work. But in terms of emotional resilience or in terms of their subconscious programming, all of that, I do it. And that's sacred. Nobody better than a mother can do that. When it comes to storytelling, when it comes to subconscious mind programming, when it comes to affirmations, when it comes to cooking with the children, when it comes to, I throw a lot of questions related to emotional intelligence to my child and how I build his EI. So
Tell
all
us
of
some
the,
questions.
I share that. So basically, all of those sacred rituals are in my hand, and we do it in such fun, loving, playful way that kids always want to come back. So इसमें मुझे ये question पूछना है मासूम, when this problem arises, if we go to the grassroots level, how much time are these moms actually, the quality time or the sacred ritual time are these moms spending with the children? Because if you really do spend that time with your child, as much as I know the child's brain, because they only crave connection. They don't care mama con, nanny con, dadi con. They only crave connection. You are giving me connection, I'll go behind you. It's simple as that.
So let me ask you, Shweta, is 1 hour in the day enough for a mother to be spending with her child?
Yep.
Out
Yeah.
of a 12-hour awake day.
If that 1 hour is 100% present quality time, yes, very much so. Now, when we talk of kids from the age 0 to 2 years, they of course need more nurture, they need more physical connection. So let's leave 0 to 2 years apart. But once your child is around 5, then 1 hour is absolutely enough. Where that quality time is there, where you are, doing certain activities like pretend play or teaching your child emotional vocabulary, which is also very important. I'll give you an example where Agastya was feeling very jealous of Amara, that because she came into our lives. And
Sorry, how old are they?
Agastya is 5 and Amara is 20 months. So they are 3.5 years apart. And so he used to feel very jealous and very insecure, and he used to act crazy if Amara is around me. And then one fine night, when I was putting him to sleep, I explained to him, Agastya, what you're feeling is called jealousy. And it's okay to feel that way. It's absolutely okay. When you love someone so much and you think that love is being divided, you feel that way. Next day, when we were, having our music and dance session together, which is what we have every single day. So when I was dancing with Amara, Agastya told me, Mama, I think I'm feeling jealous. And that's when I, oh, my baby, come here, come to me, this, that. And then I comforted him. So basically, when children have emotional vocabulary, it is very easy for them to spot that and to regulate that. So one thing that parents must do is teach your children the emotional vocabulary, the language. Differentiate the emotions and explain them. You are feeling this, and it's okay to feel this. I also feel this, and I generally do this when I feel this way. It becomes very easy because even when they grow up, when they are 7, 8, 9, 10, when they feel this, it's very easy for them. Oh, I'm feeling this. And it's okay to feel this way because my mama has taught me 30 times, I know already. I felt this way and it's okay to feel this. So from early age, 0 to 7 is so important because everything that's going in 0 to 7 years is impacting them in later in the life. And 7 to 12, 14 years, may that bracket, may you are not going to be the primary influence in your child's life. Their peers are going to be.
Yes.
So 0 to 7 mein how much you are available for your child, how much time you're spending, how much subconscious mind programming you're doing for your child determines everything of how they respond to the world in 7 to 14 years.
So what happens to children in homes that say from 0 to 7, the parents are very busy, right? There are so many homes where also it kind of is a situation that can't be helped. You probably don't live in a joint family setup. Both the parents are working. They need to work to sustain a certain lifestyle. does a child end up feeling abandoned? Because there's a classes concept, right, largely in India, where you are kept busy with play dates, with going for classes, going for activities. But is the child feeling um
See, normally a child does not really need like so many classes. And however, if the parents are not available, what is the best thing you can do? See, again, there's no one recipe fits all. It's just you do what is best for your kind of setup, right? And we all are trying. We all are trying our best to spend as much as time we can spend with our children, also keeping our work schedules and our life in place, right? So there's nothing like, a protocol that this is how it should be done. In whatever time, in whatever lifestyle that you are in, setup you are in, how much you can be available for your children. And not just when you talk about being available, a lot of parents are just physically present, but emotionally they're not present. They're just doom scrolling, sitting beside their children, right? So
absolutely.
that's also, that does not count. However, if I am present for my children 1 hour in a day where I'm spending absolute quality time, and I know that their meals are taken care of, I know that they are in the school, they're fine. And in the evening when I'm connecting with them, and what are the aspects that we connect with our children on, is first is their logic brain that needs stimulation, the prefrontal cortex. So I'm sitting and doing some puzzles with my child. Then it comes outdoor play, this part of the brain that needs stimulation, where my child is going outdoors. Then I'm doing pretend play with my child, where I play some role, he plays some role. We're explaining, or pretending to sit in a cafe, have a tea party, or a teacher student, or a baker, barista, whatever. So that kind of pretend play. Then comes storytelling, and that's the best way to regulate their subconscious mind. Again, I will talk to you about subconscious mind because that's very, very important for parents to know. It's a gold mine which is not digged as yet, right? So things to do related to their subconscious mind, programming activities, storytelling. Then comes something related to music and dance, where we are just happy, free in our homes. What we call is the dear time, which is DEAR, drop everything and reconnect with your children. So that 1 hour where I'm doing puzzles, storytelling, music and dance, freely roaming in the house, running around, hide and seek. If I'm spending that kind of time with my children, honestly, you don't have to be present for them 24/7 on their heads, because children also need their space. After they're 5, they need their space.
Wow.
So be there for them as a guide, as a mentor, as a support, but don't be like hovering over their heads, because kids don't like that. 0 to 7 years में उनके पास कोई option नहीं है. वो parents के पीछे, like, they will always come back to you. But after 7, they have options, they have friends, they have peers.
And they can choose them.
They can choose them.
Yeah. So tell us about the child's subconscious mind and how
Okay.
we can train it.
Correct. So now let us understand. Now, do you know that NLP is a very big part of training kids' subconscious mind? And what is NLP? Is neuro linguistic programming. And what is neuro linguistic programming? Is neuro is the brain, linguistic is the language, and programming is creating the pattern. Now, how it works is that the language that you use, it affects their brain, it creates a pattern and affects the way our children think, feel, and act. For example, if you speak with your children very gently, kindly, empowering, that becomes their internal voice, and not just for that day, for a lifetime. And because in a child's mind, a mother's nurturing impacts their brain so strongly. So the words that you use with your children is going to be their entire blueprint blueprint for their life on how they are going to talk to themselves. Because how you talk to them is how they are going to talk to themselves. When I tell my child, it's okay, bacha, it's okay to feel that way. Don't worry. My child, when he's in school, when he's in trouble, he's going to tell himself, it's okay, Agastya, to feel that way. Don't worry. पर जब मैंने उसको बोला होगा, what is this, ये क्या हो रहा है, you don't get it, वो खुद को यही बोलेगा, what is this happening, I don't get it. जो मैंने उससे बात की है वो उसका इंटरनल वॉइस बना है. एंड इंटरनल वॉइस stays with you until you die, because you're constantly going to talk to yourself. Right now, when you're not talking, you're still talking to yourself. Yes or no? You are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. That's your internal voice. And so much of your internal voice, your self-talk, is borrowed from your own mother. Research says that 70% of your internal voice is coming from your own parents. Of how you talk to yourself, of how you, like, when you want to push yourself, when you tell yourself, Masoom, you can do it, let's go for it. It is borrowed from your parents. 70%. 30% is, of course, your personality also, coming in and making an impact in your subconscious mind, but 70% is your parents. So it is so important that in these formative years, I don't tell my child that, oh, you're so lazy. Look at, that neighbor's child. He's so smart. Why are you not like that? Look at your sister, how well she is doing. Why can't you be like... His mind will constantly question his worth. Am I not good enough? Am I not worthy?
So is complimenting your child with good boy or good girl, is that good enough?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not effective. I mean, you need to praise your child with specifics for the effort that your child has put, and not generally, because then you're a good boy, but for doing what? Right? I need to separate the identity and the behavior. If I tell him you're a good boy, that's identity praising. So, and if I keep doing that, my child's brain will be conditioned to seek approvals and seek praises. I don't have to do that. In fact, I have to appreciate the effort, so that my child is going behind putting the effort. That if I put the effort,
That's
what makes me a good boy. You were kind, great. You were helpful, great. That's what is making you a good boy. Right? So we have to be specific in praising our children. And again, don't overpraise, or also don't like, oh, you're the smartest. That's putting a lot of pressure on my child. That's creating the fear of failure. What if I fail? My mama thinks I'm the smartest, but what if I fail? Don't do that.
So what do you say instead?
So you just like, you know what? You're improving in this. Great.
So Shweta, let me ask you, right? You have two small babies right now, and they are in the 0 to 7 age. And I think you better than anyone know how important this time is. And you're working full time and you're doing incredibly well. You're super ambitious. Do you ever feel like I should focus on my kids because this is the time that I can program them for life?
No way. No way. Because I'm showing them how it's done. Because my parenting is not only for 0 to 7 years. I am going to be their parent when they're 30, when they're 40, when they're 50. And I'm going to show them how it's done, how the life is done. And this is how the life is done. Right? And 0 to 7 में मुझे उनका जो प्रोग्रामिंग करना है, उसके लिए मुझे मेरा काम छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. That I'm anyway gonna do it. Right? Because 0 to 7 में maybe your kids need you more physically, your involvement, but later years, they're gonna see you not as a parent, but as an individual. Who you are, how you are, what you've done, how you do it. And I am preparing myself for that as well. That when my child is 20-year-old, when Amara is 20-year-old, and when she sees my mama has done this, am I going to do her proud then as well?
Yeah.
Right? So, you don't have to leave your work to do a good job at parenting. Trust me. Whatever time you can pull out of your busy schedule, just be there for them. And honestly, don't panic, and there's no rule book, there's no guide for it. It's just whatever comes from heart and whatever comes from
Yeah.
being fully present.
Yeah. There's this quote that I read, right, which, and it really hit home, which said that at some point when you grow up, there is this one day that comes into your life when you see your parents for who they actually are.
Yeah, see?
And if you're very lucky, you'll see something good,
Absolutely.
right? Because there will be a day where everything that they've portrayed will shed and you'll be able to see exactly who they are
Yep.
and what they've done right,
Yep,
wrong,
yep,
what you
yep.
thought was crazy. It now just all kind of makes sense.
And then even in terms of parental conflicts, you
yeah.
will know that who really the bad guy
Yes.
is.
Yes, you will know.
You will
You will
know.
know. So true. So true.
And for that also, when you ask me that, Shweta, how are emotionally intelligent or resilient kids are made? They are made at home. They are made in safe homes where parents are not fighting, not arguing, not yelling at the top of their voice every single day. Parents will have, two different individuals will have conflicts, but have you deal with that? Have you resolve your conflicts? Have you come around? Do you repair?
Mm.
Do you repair quickly? Do you bounce back faster? Do you keep the tone of your home soft, polite, calm,
Peaceful.
peaceful,
Peace is so
right?
important.
Because again, after 7 years, your child will not like coming to a home that has toxicity in it. Because your child has options then to stay out, to be with
Yeah.
friends, and they will choose that. If your home is not,
True.
is not peaceful,
True.
and that puts a lot of responsibility on us as parents. Parenting reveals us, who we are as individuals. So every single thing you think बच्चे सुन नहीं रहे हैं, बच्चे को क्या पता चलेगा, बहुत छोटा बच्चा है, but they are absorbing everything, even your silence. They are absorbing. आपको लगता है कि मैं और मेरा हस्बैंड फाइट नहीं कर रहे, वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग टू ईच अदर, वी आर नॉट फाइटिंग, बट हम चिल्ला नहीं रहे, but that
They can sense it.
bad energy also, they can sense it. They don't know what to do about it as yet because they are young. Once they'll be in their 11s and 12s, they will know what to do about it.
Mm.
But right now they don't know, so they don't speak. But does that mean they're not absorbing? They are 100% absorbing. Right? So speaking the sentences which only positively impact their subconscious mind, we have to be very sure of that.
Got it.
मजाक में भी मजाक मत करना, because subconscious mind मजाक नहीं समझता. Subconscious mind takes everything as is,
Correct.
raw.
Let's talk about a child's routine.
Hmm.
I think this is a topic that 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I got so much, I'd like to say I got so much hate for it from the
Mhm.
family.
Mhm.
No one agreed with the fact that a child needs a routine. Why does a newborn need a routine? Why does a 2-year-old need a routine? He will know when he's sleepy. He will sleep when he's sleepy. He will say when he's hungry. He'll eat when he's hungry. Right? And I think I'm a very type A personality. And I kept feeling like I was doing something wrong, but I feel like having a routine has been the best thing for me. I have to tell you, Shweta, that for me, a routine was slightly selfish, the motive, because I went back to work quickly and I was breastfeeding. So if the child didn't have a feeding routine, it was not predictable when I would be physically required to be with the child.
Absolutely.
So if I'm at an event or I'm at a brand shoot, or in a meeting, I can't be there if my child is not on a routine, because that means they can ask for a feed anytime. They can be overtired anytime.
Correct.
This is why I did it. But now that my babies have grown up, I've realized that it was actually for them.
Correct.
But I'd love for you to talk about, because I don't understand why it's worked.
Okay. So,
I did it for all the wrong reasons as such, but
you
it
did the
worked.
right thing. You
Yes,
did the right thing. Whatever the intent was, it was the
Yeah.
right thing to do. Because a child's brain needs structure.
Hmm.
And we're not talking that you have to be very, very rigid, but there has to be a predictable structure for my child's brain. Otherwise, they would go in fight or flight mode. Their brains cannot work in unpredictable situations in early years, 0 to 7 years में. अगर बच्चे को predictability दे देते हैं ना, then their brains work very well. It works on autopilot then. So having sleep routines, very important. Because kids are like headless chicken. They cannot lead because their brain is so underdeveloped. Their entire nervous system is so immature. It cannot give you cues. You have to help them that this is what you need to do at this time. So when they have the routine for sleep, especially for feeding, for meals, that's when these headless chicken will be tamed and will have lesser tantrums or lesser overstimulation because their brains get highly stimulated in terms of unpredictability. Of course, having a little free space, age appropriate, unstructured playtime is great, but overall, having a routine works very well for their brain. Telling kids in advance, having that rhythm, having that routine, and preparing their minds in advance just helps their brain to stay calm.
Is this why, and I've noticed this pattern, that my child will always throw a tantrum when we're leaving the house?
But do you always tell him that this time I'm going to go? This
Of
is
course
what.
not. Not when I'm leaving. When he has to leave the house.
Yeah. So why don't we tell him that, this is your routine. You're going to go here. You're going to do this. You're always going to come back here. Once you come back, we're going to do this. And once your child has a rhythm of the day, he's absolutely sorted. That rhythm is important. Another example, when it was a Sunday and Agastya was watching his Peppa Pig on television. And I told him, Agastya, our half an hour is over. Do we want to shut down now? No, Mama, I don't want to shut down. Okay, bacha, let's take 5 more minutes and then we want to do it. And then 2 minutes were left. Agastya, last 2 minutes left. Okay, Mama. By the time the 2 minutes were over, he switched it off himself. He gave me the remote and we were happy. So what happens is their brain constantly needs some external dopamine.
Shweta, please move in. This is a very ideal scenario, but
Yeah.
to really break it down,
Yeah.
my child will be like, no, 5 more minutes. No,
Yeah.
5 more minutes. And that 5 more minutes will be requested 20 more times.
Yeah. So yeah.
where is the difference here?
Yes.
What are you doing that's...
So basically just, and again, Masoom, for everything that you do in terms of gentle parenting or modern parent, whatever umbrella you put it in, just make sure you're doing it consistently for 30 times, 30 encounters.
This requires so
Yeah.
much patience.
And don't give it up in 2 or 3 encounters, because I will tell you, the effort and energy that the tantrum is going to take, the lesser energy that patience is going to take. Patience, because patience is also virtue which is developed with practice. Right? It's
Absolutely.
not something that I'm patient or I'm impatient. You're impatient because you've not practiced it enough. If you practice it enough, you will have it.
Yeah.
And when you have it and you model it in front of your children will see it and they will model it. So you are breaking the generational curse and you're blessing your entire family with that virtue
Yeah.
by practicing it yourself.
So take me through an ideal routine of a child.
From morning to evening. Okay, let's say my child woke up. Number one, I don't rush my child into waking up. Chalo jaldi utho, bus ka time ho raha hai. I wake up 15 minutes early and I make sure that I wake my child up calmly, because their brain is in resting mode. And if they are waking up with a shock, their entire nervous system, immature nervous system, gets a shock. And that registers in their subconscious mind, and that emotion is stored in terms of anxiety, which is making my children anxious. So please, parents, wake them up very peacefully, gently, by sleeping next to them, by, saying like really nice things. It's time to wake up, and just very beautifully wake them up. Like, introduce the day to them very gently. And that requires just 5 minutes more. That's it. And And हम इतने मासूम, imagine we are in our 30s and we get so anxious and overworked and overwhelmed. उनके लिए तो imagine itna immature nervous system, how can
Yeah.
they take it? So wake them up very peacefully, gently, and then whatever their routines are, please parents, let them do everything, right from brushing the teeth to bathing themselves. You be there for them, but let them do it. The more they do it, the more their brains are being used, the more their brains are developing. Versus when you do everything for them, their brains are idle, and idle mind is devil's workshop. So उसमें frustration, चिड़चिड़ापन ये सब ही आता है. The more they're using their brains, their bodies, the more they are
In control.
regulated.
They love being in control.
They love, yeah, right? So then they're going to school, and when they wake up, when you're waking them up, please practice affirmations with them. I love going to school. I love making friends. I love studying. I love reading books. I love my teachers. I eat healthy food. I listen to my parents. And I'll tell you something really beautiful in this the day routine. So then they go to the school, they're having amazing playtime at school, and then they're coming back from school. Once they come back from school, so 3 magic windows in the day. 5 minutes when they wake up, 5 minutes after they're coming from school, 5 minutes before they sleep. So once they're coming from school, we do not bombard them, of course, with questions. How was your school? What did you do? Did you complete your tiffin? Did you eat? What did the teacher say? No, 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 no. We just welcome them into the day that finally you're back. I missed you. You know what? While I was doing this, I missed you so much. So tell them little moments when you actually missed them. So right now, even like I was coming here and I told him that, you know what, when I was putting my mascara on, that's when I missed you because you put it in my makeup bag yesterday, no? So I just dropped a voice note to Nani to make it, for him to listen to. So basically, those little things that makes that connection. मैं अगर नहीं भी हूं ना अगस्त्य के साथ, वो कनेक्शन नहीं छूटना चाहिए. So put little efforts जहाँ पे उसको they feel loved, that my mama is thinking of me, my mama loves me. So they come from school, we don't rush them into asking. We simply, are expressing our love, and then whatever they do, we follow them.
Okay.
Like if he wants to play something, I'll just go behind him. Do whatever you want and I'm there behind you. And if I'm not there, the same has been conveyed to the staff और दादी कि वो आए तो ऐसे करेंगे हम, राइट? सो दैट अगर मैं फिजिकली नहीं भी हूँ बट इमोशनल ड्रॉप नहीं होगा.
I want to talk to you a bit about the role of a father in a child's life.
Correct.
I think that is quite an evolving conversation
Oh,
today.
it is.
Dads today are so present, so hands-on, and I mean, every parent thinks their child is brilliant, but I do feel like a lot of the kids today are brilliant because of how incredible the dads are.
Truly, agreed, 100%. And even at, our campus, we see in PTMs, dads are present. For pick-up, drop-off, dads are present to soothe the child. So traditionally, the nurturing roles that were taken by moms, today, fathers are also equally playing the nurturing role. They are not just the providers of the family, they are also the nurturers.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Today, mothers are also started going out. And Gen Z fathers or millennial fathers, we see they are so hands-on, right from changing the diapers to cooking the meals or bathing them, putting them to school, making them do the homework, or also regulating their emotions, showing them that, bacha, this is how it's done. Difficult moments are handled like this. That plays such a big role on a child's mind. See, because 0 to 3 years, kids are more clingy to their mothers because, of course, because of the breastfeeding or the nurturing. So they have this very first primitive nurturing they're getting from the mothers. But by the time kids are 3-year-old, they start identifying the genders, boy and girl. And the boys would know that my father is a boy. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Right? And that's when they start realizing that this is boy, this is girl, and this is the boy that I'm going to become a boy like this. That's when they start putting their fathers as their role models. That's when everything that the father does is impacting my child's entire emotional blueprint.
So let me ask you, how important is a father in a boy's life?
Very, very. I can't even put it in words because words can't do the justice to the gravity of father's presence, father's conduct is actually creating a blueprint for how the boy is going to become. In the sense, how the father is handling different emotions, difficult emotions when he's feeling angry. Is he in, does he handle anger with rage or with regulation? How he's treating the mother. That's how children, the boys, learn how to treat the girls in the classroom. अगर फादर मदर को कुछ नहीं समझता है कि तू जा, तू ये कर, you know, whatever, boy will start to think and act that way. And सबकॉन्शियसली ये इतना बड़ा रोल प्ले कर रहा है दैट वी कैन नॉट एट सुपरफिशियल लेवल वी मे थिंक ये बच्चा क्यों ऐसा है, मैं बच्चे को समझाती हूँ, बट बच्चे को समझाने से ज्यादा फादर को समझने की जरूरत है दैट आई नीड टू इम्प्रूव और आई नीड टू बी अ बेटर पर्सन, आई नीड टू डू बेटर फॉर माई चाइल्ड टू बी बेटर.
And what is a father's role in a girl's life?
So for girls, a father is something like उन पे राज करती है, right? They emotionally rule the fathers, and when fathers respond back with so much of love, with so much of faith, trust, and motivating the girl in such a way that I'm here for you. You know what? This is how it's done. You don't need any other love in the world when I'm here, you know, giving you so much of security, self-worth, and guiding you each phase of your life. Rock solid support. Because girls का इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस ज्यादा जल्दी डेवलप होता है और उनको एक स्टेडी सोर्स ऑफ लव फादर से जब मिलता है ना, दे फील वेरी सिक्योर, and that reflects in their academics, in their self-esteem, in their general conduct with boys in general also.
For a lifetime.
For a lifetime. Meaning they are not easily wooed by any boy because they've got truckload of love from father and security and trust more than anything. That you go, girl, whatever you do, I'm here. I'm here to support you. You don't have to hide anything from me. You don't have to do anything wrong so that I'm gonna come to you, scold you, blame you. I'm gonna ride life with you. You wanna do this? I'm here for you.
Yeah.
You wanna do this? Let's do it. There's no hiding there because that love is so deep, so strong, and so secured that that girl actually takes father as an anchor, and father is navigating the girl. And imagine how much this girl is going to thrive academically, in her career, in her love, in her emotional intelligence when she is secured with so much love.
And similarly, what is a mother's role in a child's life?
Correct. So again, now mother and father, there's no comparison,
Of course.
because both love is impacting their brains in different ways.
In different ways. Yeah. So what is a different way in which a mother's role is impacting the
Okay.
child's life?
So let's say mother is primitively, our brains are wired to get a lot of emotional nurturing from mothers. If I'm feeling low, I want my mom. My kids want me if they're feeling low. So that's a lot of emotional nurturing that mother is giving to the children. And more than anything, the subconscious programming. Only mothers have the magic to do that in such a way that, because that soft love, that love that is only working magic in their brain through your words, through your raw emotions, in those challenging moments, how you talk to the child, how you explain things to your child. Those are the moments when your child is taking in so much of subconscious programming, which is impacting their lifetime. So that is mother's role. And father's role mostly comes in terms of, you know, giving them like risk taking, adventure. So father's role is impacting that part of the brain. So if we talk about yin and yang, it's that kind of love. Mom is there for the soft love, and father is there for the that tough, that risk taking, that adventure, that pushing an extra mile, that you can do it, that kind of. So both the roles are very different, but very, very essential for their brain. Both love, and nobody can replace.
Yeah. How do you feel about screen time?
Screen time. See, we cannot remove screen entirely from our lives
Yes,
now,
of
our
course.
kids' life. So now we have to find a way to live with it,
Okay.
right? And
what is a way to live with it?
the way to live with it is regulate your screen time. And how we do that? Oh, we follow the signal rule. Signal is red, yellow, green. Right? So what is red, what is yellow, and what is green? We understand that, and we explain this to the parents, and parents explain it to the child.
Okay.
So what is red is anything that's reels or in shots or anything that's short format, 15 seconds, 30 seconds videos.
So that's a big no-no.
That's a red. Big no-no. Why? Because constantly there is some different theme, different music, different visuals, different animation coming in my child's brain, which is constant on repetition, on loop, which is making my child's brain a popcorn brain. It means he's constantly overstimulated with so much of information that his immature nervous system cannot take it.
Yeah.
Still, he's being overloaded with that. And that is causing so much of anxiety, frustration, overstimulation, leading to tantrums and meltdowns. So, red is anything that's so fast paced, very loud, lots of colors, is a no.
Okay.
Yellow, which is okay once in a while, is if you are watching something that's like a Cocomelon video, अगर हमने week में half an hour देख लिया, which is okay. And green is something that हम parents के साथ में co-view कर रहे हैं, educational content, which is low paced, which is not very, loud and animated. Educational videos जो आते हैं, like National Geographic, where my bacha is watching something that's soothing. And long format. It has to be like 1 hour video hai, where I'm co-viewing with my child, where we are talking about what's happening on the screen, where we are connecting over the screen. So even if your child is having screen time, it has to be monitored. That what the content, it cannot be unfiltered, unsupervised. It cannot be that way, because now the content that's being streamed and the kids getting access to such content, it's lethal. And parents have to be very, very particular about what my child is watching. You have to know what your child is watching.
So, today's parenting, there's a lot of more no's than yes. Okay, and you'll be able to give it a positive spin because you're in the industry and you're one of the stakeholders here. But if for a lay person there is a lot more no than there is yes. Okay, and I understand this. Look, I'm with you. I get it. But I feel like there's a lot of criticism that parents face for this type of parenting from the ecosystem. And I've received so many messages and DMs about this, right? Moms mainly will reach out saying, I am not supported by my family with my decisions.
Absolutely.
About my children.
Absolutely.
I'm not being supported that they should not be given chocolate. I'm not being supported that they should not be given the iPad. I'm not being supported that this is how they need to be disciplined.
Absolutely.
How can a parent
right
maneuver that? And actually, this is not parent. I think on a majority, it's moms.
Yep.
So let's talk about how mothers can navigate that.
Yep.
Because that pressure is on them.
Yes, on them. 100% agreed. And for that, very simple, that having house rules, having entire family come together when you're raising a child. Because if the child is being raised by the family, in the family, then entire family has to come together on knowing what are the rules, what are the do's and don'ts. Because I understand when you say that, mom is trying to say no to this, but dadi is telling एक chocolate से क्या होगा, इतने से क्या होगा, दे दो ना. However, एक से दो होता है, दो से चार होते हैं, एंड उससे आदत होती है, एंड उससे मम्मी का इंपॉर्टेंस मेरे बच्चे के ब्रेन में इतना कम होता है दैट वॉट एवर मम्मा इज सेइंग इज नॉट, nobody cares in the house. What I say, I get it anyway, so I have to demand in front of these people and I get it. So for that, it is very important that, number one, parents, both set of parents, they come together, mom and dad, that what rules do we want to set for our children. For example, we have the rule that you can watch weekends, you can watch television. Weekdays, it's not allowed at all. Sundays, if you want to have chips, junk food, you can have. And on weekdays, it's not allowed. Weekdays, we sleep by 9. We have a very structured, rhythmic routine, and we follow that. And if there is anything that we want to do out of the routine, we consult with each other first. Do you think we should do this? And only then we do introduce it to the child. Rather than if I'm telling something to my child, दादी सामने से आके बोल दिया, नानी ने सामने से आके बोल दिया. Honestly, it's not helping neither the mother nor the bacha. And for initial years, in 0 to 3 years, you may find it very cute. Oh, bacha is, listening to me and, is coming close to me because I fulfill his demands. But when the child is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, the child is going to be difficult. And then Dadi is going to tell the mother, I can't handle him, अब तुम देख लो. ये तो मेरी बात है, ये तो एकदम हाथ से निकल गया है. हाथ से क्यों निकला है? क्योंकि इनिशियली जब रूल्स होने थे घर में, आपने रूल्स फॉलो ही नहीं किए, कंसिस्टेंसी ही नहीं रखी. And my child needs consistency for anything.
But Shweta, I'm going to come in here from the grandparents' angle, right? I sympathize with them because they feel like there are too many rules these days. You can't give a chip, you can't give orange juice anymore. They used to think juice was incredible. Now you can't give orange juice anymore because the doctor says no. So they feel like there are way too many rules. The way the child is put to sleep is also regulated. I can't pat the child, I can't rock the child. And this kind of is starting from the newborn phase.
Right.
So in that grandparent perspective and in the ecosystem, it feels like there are too many rules to follow.
But you know what? Also, there was not so much overexposure of chips, of junk, of screen in that age versus now. Now, if you step out, every counter has chips, every counter has colas. How are we ever going to save our children from all this? And if we don't be particular about it, it's just going to go downhill. So we have to protect our children, and we protect our children by talking to the family. And I'm sure it's overwhelming for grandparents to abide by so many rules, but sit together and understand what's good, what's not good. Because ये family का बच्चा है अगर, तो हमें बच्चे को 20 साल पे अगर आपने अभी से ये सब नहीं किया, 20 साल पे when your child is going to be obese or not going to do well, he's going to blame you that why didn't you kick me in my butt and you send me to a football ground, or you made me eat healthy food, why didn't you scold me? Your child is going to tell you that. And तब आप क्या जवाब दोगे? कि no, I couldn't do enough. रूल्स है बिकॉज लॉन्ग टर्म उसका एक अच्छा इम्पैक्ट है. रूल्स नहीं होंगे तो मतलब मेरा बच्चा समझ ही नहीं पाएगा राइट क्या है, रॉन्ग क्या है. और उसमें भी कंसिस्टेंसी सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. टुडे इफ आई से येस टू चॉकलेट एंड टुमारो आई से नो, देन आई एम अगेन सेइंग, इट्स ओनली गोना कंफ्यूज माय चाइल्ड.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So coming together as a family is so important. And I'm not saying that Dadi, Nani are bad. It's just that you all have to come on the same page. And just understand, we are not patting, rocking, ये सब कुछ को लेके. Just understand how the mother wants, how you want. Find a middle ground and find a way where there is calm in the house, there's harmony in the house, and there's happiness also in the house. Because बच्चा का born होना should be a happy thing in the house and not so stressful. So just openly communicate, where grandparents also try and understand that, okay, you know what, she's the mom, she wants to maybe do it that way, let us also cooperate. And mother is also trying to grow as a parent. She's not come with a manual that yahi rules hai. She's also trying to experiment what's working, what's not working. Let me try. She's a new mom, she's enthusiastic. Let her try. Cooperate, support her. And when needed, she's going to come to you for advice. So you give her that. But वो harmony घर में होना कितना important है. So many times what happens that in this entire process, घर में there's so much of toxicity, there's so much of hate in the house, in the same house, two people are not talking to each other, they're constantly throwing bad vibes at each other. बच्चा ऐसे घर में raise हो रहा है. Why do you want to do that?
Yeah. Of
Come
course.
to, and उसके लिए both the parties have to act maturely. I'm not saying that only mother has to understand, only grandparents have to understand. Both have
Everyone
to
has to
understand
come
that you have
together.
to find a middle ground for your बच्चा to be raised in an emotionally regulated home. Because इसमें सबसे ज्यादा नुकसान तो बच्चे का है.
So can I tell you my hack?
Yeah.
Because my biggest rule breaker is my father. So it's very
Okay.
easy for me now because it's not my in-laws, it's my own dad.
Yeah.
So my hack is to tell him, and I say it very lightheartedly, and I don't say it in a way that's offensive at all.
Yeah.
But I tell him, whenever he's breaking a rule, I'll say, Papa, you raised your kids, right? Now it's my turn to raise my kids.
Yeah.
My kids, my rules.
Yeah.
And I say it in the most joking manner. I was like, you raised your kids, right? They turned out fantastic.
Yeah.
Now give me a chance. Let me
Yeah.
raise mine. And let me
Yeah.
see how I can do.
Perfect.
And I feel like
and,
this-
and you will make mistakes.
Yeah.
Surely you will. But you learn along the way. And it's a journey, right? And we need to give ourselves that space that I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm growing. As
Yeah.
an individual, as a parent, I'm growing. Because every phase of your child is going to demand a different you. Right now, what Masoom is with both her children, you're not going to be the same Masoom with a 12-year-old Zavi. You're going to be a different, and it's going to demand a different you, and
Absolutely.
you have to keep on evolving.
Yeah. For sure. Well, thank you so much, Shweta. It's been such an eye-opening conversation, and I think I'm really excited actually to implement so many of the things you've said.
Great. I'm so happy.
Especially all the subconscious, mind sort of wiring, not the rewiring, but the wiring of the brain.
Yes.
I'm so excited to do that. And I love that you
Great.
gave such simple takeaways,
Yeah.
right? Such a simple way to actually execute this and implement this into our lives.
Great.
Thank you so much for being here. So grateful. And thank you for flying in. Dubai for this.
Such an honor, such a pleasure. As I told, 10 years back, I used to see you on website, on Miss Style Fiesta, and today I'm here. I'm so happy and I'm so proud of, how your journey has been. It's so inspiring,
Likewise.
and there's
Absolutely
so much to
likewise.
learn from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you so much for watching or listening all the way through. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. It helps this show reach more incredible people like you, and most importantly, get closer to our goal to build an incredible community with the Masoom Meenawala Show. My goals with this show are audacious, and you all are the most important part of this journey. I want to create for you. So tell me what you want to hear. What stories could change your life? I read every single comment, and your reflections honestly help us shape where this show goes next. I'll see you in the next one.